Hi and good Easter morning. I'm doing a special program here. This is actually going out on my personal page Sunday mornings, which I have not done a Sunday morning program in quite a while. So I figured, hey, what better day to do that on Easter, and then also do something indie. So this is going to be a short message about Easter, sort of some things that have been on my mind about Christians for the most part. And one of the things I've been thinking about is if you have to tell somebody you're a Christian, you may not be doing it right. And another thing is about forgiveness. So we're going to start with forgiveness. And I think that's one of the toughest things to do because it does seem like the times we live in now, it's people are very mad at each other. It's very divisive and people are saying things to hurt other people's feelings and just to be mean. And to forgive somebody for that is tough. But there is Jesus talks about on his Sermon on the Mount. He talks about how to pray, and a lot of people know the Lord's Prayer. But one part I want to point out in here is on Matthew 12. It's actually in the Bible, the Lord's Prayer. Excuse me. And it says, "And forgive us our debts as we have forgiven our debtors." And some people will say, "Forgive our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass upon us." What does that exactly mean? Well, if you go on down a little bit past the actual Lord's Prayer in Matthew 6:14, it says, "If you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not," here, the do not, see that part right there, "do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive you." So there's a little bit of an incentive placed on your person, because if you do not forgive somebody else, then guess what? You're not going to be forgiven. So I have really this stuck out in my mind. And, a lot of people talk about the Lord's Prayer and they say the Lord's Prayer, but then when you actually do those items, sometimes it's a little bit tricky and it's very hard to forgive people. So let's look at today, Easter, when Jesus is risen. He had a heck of a Friday. A lot of times we look forward to Friday, and we call it Good Friday. But Jesus paid for a lot of stuff that he didn't even do. And yet at the cross, he says, "Forgive them, for they know not what they're doing." So if he can do that after all that for something he didn't do, then I think that we can take our part and forgive somebody. So today, my challenge to you is to forgive somebody for something that they possibly done to you. And it's easy to do. You just forgive them. You don't really forget it. I hate to say that, forgive and forget, but you forgive and have less of a memory of it. It's always going to have a little scar there, but make it a scar. Don't make it an open wound. When you forgive, it closes that wound. So the second part of what I want to talk about is, what I talked about when we first started. A lot of Christians will tell you they're Christian, but then they sort of do the opposite. The famous Gandhi quote was, "I like your Christ, but you Christians are so unlike him." So it's a lot about our example. And there's another saying, "You may be the only Bible somebody reads." So our example is what we are to live. And that example is what Jesus came to earth to do. And I would encourage you to read Matthew 5 and 6, the Sermon on the Mount. It gives you all the ways that we're supposed to live. And if you live that way, I don't guarantee it. God guarantees that you'll have a good, fulfilling life. And then also I would read the book of James, because there's a lot of good instruction in there. But, James 2:18 says, "But someone will say, 'You have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds.'" Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you got to have deeds to get into heaven." No, we're into heaven by our grace and mercy and what Jesus did last Friday on the cross over 2,000 years ago. That's where we're at. But how do we preach the gospel without using words? Well, there's a lot of examples on how we can do that. We can go out and we can serve others, and we can, help others. And you know what? We can even forgive others. That is one way to show that we are a Christian without telling somebody. So my other challenge for you today is, or actually this next week, let's go out and show somebody you're a Christian without telling them. And if you need some help, then hey, we got that Bible thing you can go to. That Bible has a lot of ways that you can help and you can do, and you can build the kingdom. And that's what it's all about, building the kingdom. So I said this is going to be short, and that's what it is. So hopefully you're out going to church, even if you're a Christer. That means Christmas and Easter church attender only. Do it. I'm going down to near Cincinnati and have brunch with my sisters and their family, and then we're having another Easter dinner here tonight. So hey, Easter's pretty cool. So I appreciate you tuning in, and thanks for listening.